Merry Christmas everyone. Today I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite heroes from the past year of Fire Emblem Heroes. I'm recording this early, so no talk about the current Emblem Lyn banner, but I do intend to summon on that one. I would say this past year my summoning focus has indeed revolved around the emblems. They are just too game breaking to ignore. I also had my eye on a certain Choose Your Legends winner. I did plan to plus 10 them, so I tried my best to save, especially as we got closer to August. With that said, let's first begin with some older heroes. Who spooked me most, some updated builds, and what formulas did I pick up. This year, I was visited by Mr. Brave Alm a bunch. At one point, I got like 3 alms in like 2 days between the arena tickets and random summons. If I had to give him a build, I do think he'd be fun with momentum since his Refine does give 3 movement, plus she already got Sense Scale. As for the OG Ike and Sonya, these two just keep showing up over the years. I've had my Ike stored as common manuals but finally merged them all together. Maybe I'll finally build up these oldies once they hit plus 10. Now, for a couple updated builds, I got some spare Infantry Pulse 4s, so I gave them to my Garrick with his Refine. Not a very hardcore build, but I mainly use him just for cooldown support. If I had more, he'd be perfect for stuff like Gust and bonus to other skills. Now, from this month's Refine batch, Duso finally got an upgrade. From whatever reason, I got so many copies of the old man, and now I decided it's time for a proper build. With that being said, I was waiting specifically for the emblem banner for fodder. I'm going to try desperately to get his spare Alphonse or Sigurd and shove their skills into Duso. He's not busted by any means, but his Refine's quite nice. For some fun summons this year, I actually was able to get Pirate Veronica and Tabarn. I had always wanted this Tabarn and actually summoned him on his Refined banner. Messing around with Frozen is pretty fun. Similar story for Veronica. I think she was from one of the guaranteed 5-star seasonal unit banners. Her Refine is also quite fun with Feud plus instant cooldown. Now, I haven't spent the Divine Dew, but Howling Female Grandma did get a very cool Refine. Another free summon this year. Too bad she has a Res Bane, which is not great for that scale effect. Now, for a recent old unit I just summoned, I finally got Fallen Edelgard from this winter banner. I heard she's pretty broken. Feels pretty nice to be in the Cool Kids Club finally. Now, moving on to formulas I got for the year. I was saving up from last year, so I spent a good amount. I was surprised to see Tina already available and grabbed her because the Thief Staff is too funny. These are just the skills I got, but I usually run stuff from her base kit. Next, for one of the Sacred Stones reruns, I got Little Lara Shell with all the new fun healer stuff, Damage Special, Magic Shield, and Fortress 4. I am praying we get a Dazzling Staff Seal so I can get to keep using Kanto. Last one of the Shining Stars of the year, and in the unit I somehow kept getting, Fallen Leon. His Refine is really fun, even though the weapon triangle barely matters these days. For general content though, the power of Lagu's friend is just too good. Using Flare, Emblem Ike, and Times Pulse makes this Leon pretty impressive. I was genuinely surprised at how well he does. Now, it's not set in stone, but I do plan to pick up Nami from this Hollow Forms event going on right now. Probably one of the few people who actually want her forma. I never planned to plus 10 Nami, but she keeps showing up, so why not have some fun? I already have some skills I could give to her, so I'm just picking up what I think could be fun for eventually. Since the Refine is probably like 2 years away, I'll probably just go with a basic offensive inheritable bow. For example, the Kumoyumi Brave Bow ain't too bad. Moving on, let's see the banners I decided to summon on for year 8. Technically, I just go Christmas to Christmas, but close enough. With the anniversary, we got a Sacred Stones Valentine's banner, so I immediately caved on the CYL savings. I was thinking about building up my OGF from this year, but he got another ult, so I decided to sit on things. I am going to be in deep trouble if they do decide to split Erica and Ephraim into 2 emblem units. Now, as for Valentine's Merp, she's a pretty great arm unit. I do like her Warp Bubble effect, although that niche is starting to spread out more. I am surprised Selena got another ult, but at least she's got a fun inheritable tome. OG Selena should be getting refined soon. Kinda curious how that one's gonna turn out. Next up, for the Illusia banner, I wanted to get Hortensia for Arcane Charmer. That was actually the only rearmed weapon I chased this year. As a bonus, I also managed to get Ivy. Soaring Echo is quite fun. When it comes to the Spring banner, I got my 1 copy of Fram. Unfortunately, her %DR support niche is kind of in a bit of trouble meta-wise, but I really like how they tried to implement Chain Guard from Engage. I actually casted a vote for Fram and CYL, so I'll take this ult. As much as I don't want to accept base Fram won't be punching people, just imagine if healers get to use a style for martial arts. If Lyn gets to attack from 6 spaces away, is it really that unbelievable that healers would get to melee people? If that ever happens, I'll plus 10 that Fram. Moving on, for the Bridal banner, I want to do a Sharena and managed to get a copy. Really fun unit. I also managed to get a Bridal Nell along the way. As much as I would love to have Base Nell as a Lance infantry, I kinda already accept she's gonna be a dragon. She's a cool character, plus her being here kinda signals we're probably gonna get the Engaged DLC characters at some point. I do kinda wonder how they're gonna split it up though. Now, not a banner unit, but Groom Alcris was one of my considerations for a +10 project this year. I was thinking between him or Naomi, but honestly I'll probably just build both. I could give Alcris his own rearmed alt's arcane bow, but perhaps I'll wait for a third bow option. You know, Naomi will get it refined eventually, this Alcris alt will not. The engage spam was heavy this year and that continues into summer. I liked female Alir's legendary alt, so having another similar unit with her DR piercing support is pretty nice. Ponytail Alir also looks great, plus you get the Sami beach ball too. While getting Alir, I managed to get 2 gold Marys. I used the other for fodder because that is just a hilarious base kit to see. Since he was the 4-star focus unit, I got a couple clans as well. Dude has some nice tier 3 skills, but also a pretty unique high risk stat spread for daggers. With the end of summer, CYL was fast approaching, so I had to start saving more orbs. Naturally, this means it was the perfect time for a Sacred Stones banners to mess up my plans. I managed to get everyone except Ford. That means, regrettably, my Sacred Stones collection is now unfinished. As much as I would like to, spending orbs on just one copy of Ford is not really the smart thing to do. Time to pray to RNG for the red pity breakers to bless me. Medusa is my main Lance Cavalry focus, and I do want to build Orson whenever his refine happens. For the time being, I have finished my other +10 Deem Up merge projects. This means Kyle is my next focus. Let's hope his +10 is easier to come by than my last one. Next up, we got Choose Your Legends 8. Personally, I like to grab a copy of all the winners each year. I think it's worth it since they all get early refines. This year was a pretty strong class. I definitely enjoy using Robin a lot. Her spectrum is great, plus the ice terrain is certainly game changing. Brave Brainy's a fun unit, nothing like good old Vantage to deal with dangerous threats, plus Desperation support isn't the most common sight either. As for Mr. Felix, no words need to be said, just a straight up disgusting unit out of the box. I wish I got more copies to fodder. Winding down till winter, one of the last units I purposely chased was Ninja Saline. Surprising all, but really fun. I managed to get a Tharja along the way, plus attack even, but I am willing to hand her over her skills to another unit. Let's move on to some surprise summons, either free summons or just the pity breakers of new units. First up, 2 of my favorites. I did want to summon on the Soul banner, but I had no orbs at the time. Got a lucky Marin though, which is nice. Another freebie from tickets was Elfin. I do like his Miracle Dancer gimmick, but getting a plus attack boon for the 20 base attack unit was just too funny. I would definitely be using Elfin more though. For some pity breakers of the newer heroes, I got myself a Mycin and Nidavellir. I actually got Nidavellir after the Sacred Stones banner he was on ended. So other summons where Yukimura plus Arlen just came from my winter banner summons. I might have to fodder his close bonus doubler off. When it comes to special hero types, Peony was our Hero Rises prize this year. Great unit. From various monthly banners, I ended up getting Attuned Cheetah and Nino. Really thinking of giving Nino skills to one of my archers. For more fun units, I got an Attuned Azura and Mythic Hater, who was from last year. I wasn't summoning for Mythics much this year though, so Hater was quite a nice addition. That brings us to Legendary Mythics and Emblems. Besides Ratatoskr, the only Mythic I got was Ichthynir. Very fun buffer and just a solid wall as well. The only new legendary I got was Camilla, though to be fair we only had 4 the whole year. Her dear person support is still good and quite powerful. Just because Book 9's already begun, I'm going to include Rune here. Obviously he's free and I haven't used him much, but if you want to be using that new Calling Circle, you're going to need Rune on your team for the next year. The next 4 units should be no surprise. Year 8 was heavily affected by the introduction of Emblem Heroes. They're all solid units, but their rings are way too powerful and the devs aren't putting restrictions on how many you can use, meaning missing out is a pretty big disadvantage. The only emblem I missed on the first go around was Ike. Zero chance I was going to miss him again. Since Sigurd was the most recent, besides Lyn, I will say he's an incredible unit for clearing content. Last month's double mythic battle map was one of the toughest we've ever gotten. Sigurd literally makes that abyssal map a joke. Override is just something else, man. Let's move on to my build projects and +10 projects for the past year. Glenn has been a really fun heroic Grail unit to mess around with for general content. His healing is really great for other units, but I don't have Wyvern Ref, so I haven't really done much with his build. I'm hoping to get some proper skills this next year. One of my Demo +10 projects I finished was Vanessa. I gave her Arcane Lewin, but this isn't a very hardcore build. I would like to get some other skills to try out, maybe Momentum or Air Maneuvers. not really sure what I want to commit to. I feel like melee fire builds are missing something when it comes to non-momentum or desperation type skills. For a more invested setup, my Summer Shell was first aligned for a Arcane Staff, and that's exactly what she got. Not only did I feed her Hortensia's skills, but I also gave her Ivy's skills, including Fartrace 4. With the new Wrathful Staff Sacred Seal, that was a great decision, since I can now have Kanto and full damage. For the most part, this is just a full damage setup with Deadly Miasma applying after and Soaring Echo warping allies around. Quite happy with how it turned out. It's still pretty funny that just stat-wise, one of my highest attack units in my entire barracks is a healer. One of my heroic growth projects for the year was Spring Linhardt. One of the highest res units in the game means Linhardt has a decent chance to out-res Scallyfax. It also lets him debuff with Ploy skills, and that can give Golden Yu Bow -3 instant cooldown. With Emblem Marth and Special Sparrow 4, this Linhardt can proc full DR Piercing Glacies. Bit of a one-trick pony, but my god can he do some burst damage. This is a fun build I talked about in my review of Linhardt. Golden Yu Bow is just ridiculous, and while more Scallyfax don't use res checks, there are also more instant cooldown skills to stack behind this weapon. It's a silly little build, but I'm happy with the results. Next, a heroic growth project from last year I talked about was Summer Melchez, a free, souped-up Brave Lance on a flyer with great offensive stats. It's just a lot of fun to run. I'm using Gambit with Aether for 15 true damage to stack with Surfer's Spade, and the percent DR also lets Shez tank some hits in some cases. I can run him with Distant Counter for fun, but generally I'm using Rain Snap to get in and delete someone. While Shez has near Trace Kanto, I do find it better to have Sigurd's Kanto 3. That or Celica's Ring have been great pairings. Now when it comes to Edelgard, I somehow keep getting copies of her Brave Vault and regular self. Even though it wasn't intended, I actually managed to +10 Brave 80. I did spend 2 Forma Souls on her, but to get access to Shield Fighter this year, it was 100% worth the cost. In terms of longevity, Brave Edelgard has to be one of the best for the CYL winners. She was already pretty solid, and then her Refine was excellent too. She can definitely run all the other offensive skill sets, but watching Shield Fighter in action is just so disgusting. There are a lot of stronger armors nowadays, but for a 4-year-old unit, I can't say I'm disappointed. Hopefully I can get some of those newer savior skills to add to the kit. My last +10 project I finally completed is regular Lapis along with Vanessa. It's been a long road to +10, though admittedly I still feel kinda lucky it didn't take longer. New from last year, I've gone with the standard Legu's Friend Godlike Reflexes setup, but I am on the hunt for new skills. I would have liked to use an attuned Erica to get Gust and Distant Bonus Doubler, but if I keep Arcane Devourer, then Gust doesn't work with Legu's Friend. I am thinking of waiting for the next Arcane Sword to decide more, but who knows how long that'll be. Regardless, I'm still very happy to finish this +10 project. I am not a fan of the red demo pool. To end the video, I want to share my favorite standout units for year 8. These aren't necessarily my best units, just ones I really like using and want to talk about. To start, from one Lapis to another, I was surprised to see Lapis get an ult, and not only that, but she got a unique status for herself. Despite having the usual offensive stat spread, this Lapis can benefit from not killing her target. This is because she applies Share Spoils onto them. If an ally defeats the Share Spoils foe, they will get an extra action. To enable this, after attacking, Lapis gives 2 space warping to allies within 5 tiles. For extra defense, you got 80% damage reduction, a defensive special, and Flowguard's 4 Scowl and Guard effect. Share's Pros even gives full DR piercing on any hit, and Lapis has built-in 10 damage Savage Blow. Honestly, just a very unique unit, and really fun to play as long as Warp Bubble isn't around. It's not a perfect kit, but I appreciate the Zolt for doing something very different than the usual all-out offense.
I will do my best.
Next up, we got Fallen Veil. I enjoyed regular Mythic Veil from last year, and Fallen Veil just plays into her Scout support even harder. Being able to Scout follow-up attacks is quite powerful and unique in case the unit is doubled, plus Veil still offers 30% damage reduction to allies as well. This Veil has access to Brave attacks, which boosts her own damage output if she has a lot more res than the foe. Thankfully, I ended up getting a res super boon with her. With Crystalline Water, Veil can shrug off debuffs, plus Tempo 4 gives partial DR piercing. Overall, just a really nice follow-up to the original, plus I think Evo Veil was fun and engage. Really neat ult. The actual start of year 8 was pretty spicy thanks to Dual Leon. This is such a sweet ult for Leon and Erica, and then you see Leon gets for Mortis's Turn Any Nightmare, but for the player phase. Combat-wise, Leon was borrowing Legendary Camilla's incredible instant damage scaling with 50% DR piercing. If Leon out-resed his opponent, he also got a sweep effect. That combined with the turn-ending status was truly devastating. He has the range of a Mage Cav, plus the Cultist's Strike for more damage, and an Insight for more stats. All in all, very powerful unit that can still severely mess up enemies. Now, Dual Leon truly earns the Demon King namesake, getting multiple counters within the year. I think it's hilarious that it's a tuned Erica of all people that had Nelsie Disrupt Echo, which lets more units fight back against the sweep part. You then got Breath of Life 4, which cancels out the instant damage effect, and of course, Firm Contour Curve is literally made to counter like 3 units, and one of them being Leon. Despite all the counters, just very strong units still in general. Piggybacking off Leon, I have to highlight Winter for Mortis. I had him here last year just because of how awesome his abilities were translated into Fae, plus it's so cool he uses Leon to transform into his actual form. Now, the Winter ult went all in on the Shield Fighter survivability to trigger Nightmare. For Mortis also gets some counterattack potency, plus you can run the armor damage specials if you really wanted. Aesthetically, amazing artwork once again, and the tiny Leon is so ridiculous. Out of game though, if you haven't seen, the Demon King has been delivering amazing presents this year with an increasing amount of summon tickets. The interactions on the Fae Twitter with past Winter Envoys has also been amazing. You could have not have convinced me that like almost 20 years later, the Demon King and the Black Knight would be duking it out over Christmas. This is where Fire Emblem Heroes really shines as an all-in-one franchise tie-in game. Fittingly, my last pick for the year also comes from Fae. Brave Alphonse was my +10 goal once it was announced he won. I could not be more impressed with how he ended up. He's got Gustav's armor and copies his attack pose. Brave Alphonse's special artwork is so dang good. And then you got the hilarious "I'm gonna kill you too" line included for the memes. In combat, Alphonse is hilariously tanky with unpierceable percent DR, flat DR, and then able to stack permanent stats due to great talent. Bringing this guy into arena and seeing 80 defense on screen is nasty. Just absolutely wild. Since Alphonse can give stats to his allies, I kinda like using him to boost the stats of the Asker trio when you got missions to use them. Just an incredibly fun unit, and despite all the numbers, he still isn't unkillable. That's just how insane things have gotten when like 70 to 80 defense just ain't good enough anymore.
I can hardly wait.
That'll be it for this Christmas special. Thank you very much for spending some time with me. If you would like, please feel free to share your own favorite units with everyone for the past year. Old, new, base kit, or super premium builds, doesn't matter. I get the most enjoyment running into all those oddball units with incredible builds in various modes. We've gotten over 1,000 individual units in this game. There's a favorite for everyone for whatever reason. If you're planning to summon on the Emblem banner, then I wish you good luck. I'm gonna go test my own luck later on Christmas Day. Thank you for watching, have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you in the next video.